Twitter accepts Elon Musk's offer to buy Twitter. But, you know what? I think that's all I have to say about that.
Dude, to not talk about the purchasee and to talk about the thing that was purchased, I did a little bit more looking into this, and it was sparked by an Atriarch video, but I did a little bit more looking into this, and man, do I just think he got scammed.
You think so?
It's just trash. Okay, first of all, I found from a different source that they've been like, I don't want to say falsely reporting, mistakenly reporting, inaccurately reporting, whatever you want to say,
Sure.
their user counts.
Twitter?
They've like literally, as far as my, I wish I had a link for this. I believe it's like millions of users less than they said. To be fair, I think it's like 2 or 3 million compared to the like 200 and whatever million that they actually have.
Yeah.
But it's still like, it's a lot of people less than what is actually there.
Huh.
And like, of course they find that out exactly now. Also, I have heard, let's look this up. Let's see if I can find it right now.
It's crazy. You know what? Let's put it in context for a second. Amazon bought Twitch for $1 billion.
Okay. Listen to this.
And we thought that was crazy. And it probably was because, oh, wait, is it even in the doc this week talking about Twitch, the rumored 50-50 revenue split
so.
and
we should
like
talk
forcing
about that.
streamers to like play more ads and stuff? I have some hot takes on that, so we'll definitely talk about it.
So this is, I hope this blows your brain because it blew the heck out of mine, and I want some companionship here because this is nuts. Because I've been talking about how like ridiculous Twitter is forever, and this is actually driving me insane. Take a guess at what their annual research and development expenses were for 2021.
I don't know.
Twitter R&D.
Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. Just give me a sec. Give me a sec.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
You can't ask me a big question like that and be like, come on, answer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm thinking.
I will give you
okay.
a little hint.
I want to think. Let me think. Okay. So they have software developers.
Yep.
Okay. Software developers are very expensive.
Yes.
So if their team is more than like 5-6 people, their total expenses, and remember, your expenses includes more than just salaries, right? Like these people have to have a place to work. They need equipment.
And salaries are more expensive than people realize because
Okay.
there's government
Yeah,
costs
they need
and stuff on
Skittles,
top of it.
okay, and M&Ms.
Yeah, it's a
Not
modern
just
web.
Skittles, Smarties. No, not Smarties. That's more of like a different candy in the States. Okay,
Different in the US,
it doesn't matter. The point is they need candy. They're developers. Okay, so if you have even like a handful of developers, you're already spending $1 million a year. So I'm going to say they have more than just a handful of developers. I'm going to say they spend $20 million a year.
Okay.
How far off am I?
Orders of magnitude.
Orders.
Yes.
Shut up.
No.
$2 billion a year?
So maybe not quite, but 1.247 billion was their spend in 2021. Look at what they've done with it. This is what are you doing? And they're so bad. Like, what did he buy? This is so trash. And okay, if you're a developer at Twitter, I'm sorry. It's honestly probably not your fault. Looking at that amount of expenditure and what you've been able to produce, this is probably a management issue. I know I'm regurgitating Atriarch on that point, but I completely agree with him. That has got to be a management issue. The fact that you can't take $1.25 billion and create something better than like a glorified forum for admittedly a lot of people is crazy.
Wait, hold on a second. $1.2 billion is just R&D or actually includes operating expenses of running the platform?
Research and development expenses for 2021. It's up 42.81% from 2020, which was $0.873 billion. It's still closer to $1 billion than what did you say, 20 million?
I said 20 million. I figured they might have a team of like 50, 60 devs. Like, what do they even do all day?
What do they do all day? They killed Vine, which if you were able to fast forward into the future and see TikTok.
Yeah. Well, killing Vine was just obviously stupid. Like, even at the time, you didn't even need to fast forward.
Vine was huge. One of the biggest things on YouTube, I don't know if you were into YouTube at that point in time, one of the biggest things on YouTube for even years after Vine shut down
now
was Vine compilations. They were huge. Vine shutting down created some of the biggest YouTubers that have ever existed. They shut that platform down.
Just gave it away.
They are only now running just Twitter. It's $1.25 billion. Some people brought up in the past when I ragged them for the edit button, and I was like, you could do this in a week. Yes, that's not enough time. Sure, I know. Yes, it's more complicated because they have to reference things in a lot of different places, and they're trying to be very data scalable, and they're going to get embedded on websites, and they have to deal with that, and yada, 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 and it's been built a certain way. I get it. They spend $1.25 billion on R&D. Figure it out. You can send people to space. What is SpaceX's, just for another one of his companies, SpaceX R&D budget. Let's see if it's even public.
Okay.
All
right.
I'm just seeing comments about this, so I'm not entirely certain. But like, that is an insane and absolutely ludicrous R&D budget for what they've actually produced on Twitter. I do understand these massive development teams for these like really, really, really high-end companies. There is a lot more technical bureaucracy in the way. There's positives and negatives to that. I'm not going to get like way into that now. I know only certain people can actually push code, and you're going to run into bottlenecks, and like all this stuff happens. Absolutely.
But here's the thing. Apple spent $19 billion on R&D for the fiscal year ending in September 2020 and has a product lineup that includes multiple operating systems.
And they're working on like cars and stuff. Like they're super wide reaching at Apple.
Well, yeah, and the thing you got to realize about Apple is that honestly, it's one of the things that pisses me off the most about Apple is that they are often at the forefront of product development. Whether it's micro LED display, exploration for wrist devices or VR or like cars or whatever it is, they are often on the cutting freaking edge.
Oh yeah,
we just like don't get to see a lot of it.
Yeah,
or it's ludicrously priced. But like Apple only spent like 1.5 times that probably by the time we're looking at the same year. Or sorry. 10 times, 15 times? What does this work out to? I'm sorry, math is still got COVID brain. About 15 times the amount. Apple definitely has, and Apple is also a company that I often look at and go, wow, they spend an awful lot on R&D for how many products they actually make.
Yeah.
I mean, when Apple is making you look like a complete idiot when it comes to R&D spending, whew!
Insane. Like actually crazy. I had no idea. I've honestly spent a lot of this time when I'm like ragging on how trash Twitter is. I've spent a lot of it just assuming that it's a like really small team that's just raking in the dough because there's like none of them and they have this really massive platform. But that's not even true. It also wasn't profitable. Bro, you got ripped the hell off.
Yeah.
You bought a dumpster fire.
That's a big problem is like Twitter. How on earth are you going to turn a profit?
Apparently, when he who shall not be named got loans to make this purchase, a lot of it, the discussions at the bank included actually reducing staff count as one of the ways to approach profitability.
Sure.
And also he had apparently some other ideas. I don't know. I didn't really look into it that far. But like apparently chopping down staff count is part of it. And I believe he specified like executives, which honestly, looking at the spend and what they're getting out of it is probably the correct approach.
Sure.
And I don't know what executives. I know nothing about Twitter. I know nothing about anyone that works there.
Yeah.
I know I'm not claiming anyone individually. I don't care. It doesn't matter. But something has got to be going wrong here. I like it. It's insane. Apparently, yeah, no, I'm getting a bunch of conflicting numbers about SpaceX, and I don't really care. Just sending something to space seemed like a funny thing to reference. But like,
I can't tell if binary C here is being verbally ironic or not. But they said an unprofitable dumpster fire with a large intangible value is an ideal company to take private. I would actually think it's the opposite.
The other way
that.
Around. It's an ideal company to like
go
IPO,
public,
yeah,
and take a bunch of people's money and then
take
Jack
off.
Dorsey out. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Just take off. Peace, yo.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's crazy. I don't think I've
Okay.
been stunned by a statement that hard in a while.
Let's play a game.
Okay.
Because it's not like Elon's the first billionaire to buy a media organization as a way to swing an unprofitable media organization as a way to swing their thing around. Bezos bought the Washington Post,
and then immediately articles started running that were like extremely positive Bezos. But yeah, sorry, keep going.
Yeah. So okay, you're a billionaire. Okay. Which would you rather have, the Washington Post or Twitter?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, if I'm what is it, Rupert Murdoch? I just buy all of them. That's, I don't know. I feel like they're very different approaches, because on one of them you're attempting. Well, I don't know. I don't want to presume what he's doing with it. But in one of them you're wrestling some form of control. I'm not placing intentions at all. You're wrestling. This is, I think, objective. You're wrestling some form of control of an open forum.
Yeah.
And in the other one, you're...
Or theoretically not asserting any kind of control over it. Well, no. Which the EU also already made very clear is absolutely not going to be happening unless Twitter wants to pay, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 7% of its turnover per year in fines. Whoa. They're like, yeah, you actually do need to regulate hate speech on the platform, or you will either be fined to this degree, or you will just be outright banned in the EU, which would actually be pretty bad for Twitter.
Well, I mean, they just lose money anyways, so.
I guess the fewer users, the more profitable. The better the balance sheet.
Chop that R&D budget down. I don't know. I feel like you probably get more direct value if that's your goal. And I mean, he hasn't stated that's his goal, so I guess it's not his goal. But I think you get more direct value by buying the publication.
I'll be very interested to see what happens when and if there is some kind of non-free speech move that takes place on Twitter. Whether it is, whatever the perception of it is, I'll be interested to see how that goes.
Thanks for watching, and thanks to MechanicalKeyboards.com for sponsoring this week's clips. MechanicalKeyboards.com has a ton of keyboards, switches, keycaps, and more, all from brands you know and love. Check them out and use code LTT using the link in the video description.